out in the locker room, as lopsided as it felt, still in the fight at the end. And so we do have a tough crew with an attitude to battle. There's be a lot to learn from this game. And I also told the team that, like these are, got to apply the lessons that will be given today. And let's give Baltimore credit. They're a good outfit and played well. Love the fight that the guys had at the end. But there was a lot to overcome today. And although we're in at the end, it felt lopsided, but love the effort to go try to finish it. So all that said, glad to get it rolling.
And as you said, you guys were in it till the end. How did you feel about the compete level of these guys?
I thought we were really ready in that space and showed that all the way through. When you see a time of possessions, switch like it was and long drives. But, coming into the half, at 17-10, I think we might have just missed a field goal into that spot. But I thought, that was the kind of back and forth fight we were expecting, certainly in that spot.
The offense wasn't going to be able to continue as it had for that kind of 2-3 week period. What do you think of Jayden and the offense?
I thought, like I said, going into the end, we thought we had some chances to hit some earlier, and we didn't. On some of the third downs, I thought, we were able to convert some, and the fourth downs as well. But by and large, not having enough completions and runs was a real factor. And same thing when you don't play complementary football, of getting enough third down stops, you don't get enough shots at it. And so coming in, we knew we'd have to steal some possessions. So to get the first turnover, I thought was a big deal, to get a turn of it and get there. And we thought that would have to be, the way we, find the margins to go win. And so when, didn't create any other offense, they did a good job at taking care of the ball, but, not enough sustained drives.
Dan, in a game where Derrick Henry's obviously stopped slowing him down is a focus, was this a game where, I don't know if you needed more from your corners, but kind of exposed them a little bit more because you had more focus up on the run?
Yeah, I think you have to. Like this is a team that was leading the NFL in running, so going in, you have to do that. I thought earlier in the game, we played the run better. As the game wore down, I thought we wore down some, and including into the 4 minute at the end to go get a stop. So in the first half, I think they ended up with maybe 51, somewhere in that space, which I would have said would probably be somewhere you would have thought. And then at the second half, just like I said, too many shots at it.
And I know there's no moral victories
No.
at this level, but in terms of Jayden, the fact that they score, you guys come back and score, score again, get the field goal block, and then the second half kept coming. What does that say about him and his ability to be unrattled, seemingly?
I loved like answers. And so you don't wait for a long time to do that. Again, at the end of the half, we thought we had a chance to go down, get a stop, get a 2 minute together, go down, take a shot to get the ball back again. So in those moments, Ben, he is really strong and really comfortable in that spot. We've, as a team, practiced a lot of those situations a bunch, and it shows.
Dan, go ahead. Dan, with a group like Baltimore that's been together, has had some continuity, how does that show up in key situations?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dave. A lot of respect for them because they played to their identity, played tough. I told John that after the game, as that was a quintessential finish, by you and your guys, and the way to go close it out. So both teams, I thought, have tough identities. And then I did say to the team, these are really important games for us to be in, to know this is what it's like to go and fight, and we need these. I called it a test inside, but we need these environments, we need the space, and feel really comfortable in it. And that's what I wanted them to get across today, like being real comfortable in these kind of fights. And I think what I'm trying to say, Dave, like I felt like they were. They've been in the tight ones, and so that's why it was important for us to be in this and having the fight all the way till the end to give us a chance at it. That was what I was looking for.
When you play a team that's had that kind of experience, and it's not the moral victory question, but how do you build on what you guys were able to do so that if you play another team like that that gives you a good shot, you can
I think
put it away?
The answer is we try to take the lessons that are applied for us. What are we going to take from this game? I would say you want to get better in every game, but I think there's some specific things that we can get better at, a lot better at, from this game. And that's what I expect us to do. But different guys had to step up, some guys going down, some injuries or some penalties on third down where like that happens and you got to go, attack the next series and going. So even in the hardest of drives, goes a long one, they get a penalty. Like you can't let that deflate you into the next drive.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're fine. Go ahead. I got you.
You said that Jayden is strong in those moments and comfortable.
Yes.
Does the rest of the team feel that about him?
Yes, they do.
Does it run through like the whole roster almost?
we work a lot at that. I would say there's a lot of belief in him, and I think it came, that belief, from a lot of the work that he's done. Like, we had one just Thursday in practice, that it was a 2-minute at the end of the game to go execute it, scrambled, kneeled, clocked it, field goal. So he is in those spaces. I think that's one of his real strengths, and fortunately for us, as a young player, you wouldn't normally count on that and keep building into that spot. But because he has real command in that space, the players do have a lot of beliefs. I would say, yes, it does go through the roster.
For the defense, and sorry if you already asked this, but, in some of those explosives that were allowed, how much of that was what Baltimore was doing, or were there details that you felt, you guys could have done better?
I don't know if it'd be details, but maybe they found maybe some of the, like in every coverage or run, there's some strengths and some weaknesses. So, for instance, if you were playing man-to-man and you had outside leverage, you're vulnerable inside. So I wouldn't say it wasn't like a communication issue that got us jammed up today, Nikki. I would say at the end, not fitting some runs exactly like you want, or a certain coverage in a fire zone that here's where the hole is and they hit it. So I had been impressed leading into the game with their passing game and Lamar, although the running game got so much attention. So I wasn't surprised to see them throw it well. I was disappointed to see the long screen early. That was one thing that we had talked about. But I knew they had a complete package. They may have not had to feature it as often in some games, but I knew they had that in their arsenal as a passing game too.
And you had a few defensive linemen that were banged up. John
Yes.
Allen, Dorrance, Javante.
Correct.
Any update on those
No
guys?
update. I'll try to give you as best I can tomorrow. During the game, both Dorrance and John weren't able to return, but I haven't visited with the medical people, so I'll give you some updates when we visit tomorrow in the afternoon.
Dan, we already know it wasn't a measuring stick game. You said that earlier
Right.
this week. But you did learn that today that your team can show up and fight against these teams, these caliber teams.
Correct.
Specifically, when you're back on that bus this afternoon, is there something that's just going to stick out to you as far as like, yes, that was great, or even on the negative side that we definitely could have done that better?
Going down at the end, we were down 2 scores, and so we were really clear if we got to a certain timeline, we would kick the field goal to go get a stop to give us another chance. So I thought, I'm pleased that the team understood the strategy there, where this is what we have to do to win when you're down 10 points, that it's not an ideal situation to be in. But knowing that we were able to communicate, if we get to this spot, we're going to kick it. We ended up, throwing an incomplete, or maybe Jayden even ran out of bounds. It was like his last drive. So to kick a field goal into that spot, go get into there to get that stop, that one leaves a mark, because if you get a stop and you get a punt, at least you have a good chance. Hey, man, it's a long drive to get into the end zone, but you got a shot. And with him, I feel like we're always in the fight, because sometimes he might just make a play outside the pocket with his legs that other people aren't capable of. And, they did a good job today of trying to corral him. There's still some times he gets outside and makes plays. So the lessons are there for us to learn. We will learn them. But I would say we're strong in the situations in our young time together, to reference what we were talking about earlier. And that's really important, because I think you guys probably know it better than me. Through the first 6 weeks, I think it's 75% of the games are close to that. Maybe it's 70% are within 1 score, within 8 points. And so that's the fun part of our league. Like, there's battles, and today was a battle. And when we take our shots, we got to learn from them and say, all right, we're going to be in a lot of these kind of fights against a lot of good teams. And I want us, that's why I was referring to, I want us to be comfortable in those spots. But you do have to go through them. And when you get a big, nice win at the end, we're able to pull people out. Those are fun. Theirs are good. And we definitely want more of those. But the ones today, I'd say sometimes the lessons there are just as effective.
Take 3 more.
Coach, you said today that Baltimore really played to their identities. As you look back at this, do you feel like your squad played to their identity as well?
Give me some more help on that.
So you mentioned that Baltimore was able to play to their strengths and use that 4-minute drill. Do you feel like your team played to their strengths in this game, or were you kind of?
I don't feel that way. I thought, like I said, at the half we were right in where we were supposed to be. I like the takeaway earlier. I don't like how we performed in the second half. I don't love how we performed on third down. I knew they were going to be really good in the run game. I didn't think we would get, missed on some that we did. So I wouldn't say we played to their strengths, but we knew they were strong into that spot, and we'd have to throw it more than we normally do. That's kind of part of the game plan too, to say if they're strong in this area, you have to be able to adjust. So as lopsided as it felt, I said I still thought we were in it at the end and had a strategy to go win it. We just didn't get it done.
Dan, what's obviously Brian Robinson was inactive.
Yep.
I don't know how it was a close decision, but what's his sort of status for you guys right
Yeah, I'll hit you on that again tomorrow. We're certainly making progress. We just, not going to put the guys out there if they can't do their thing at full speed, and so not being able to turn it around for practice like we wanted to on Friday. Let's give it another look Saturday, still sore. So in that case, we'll make the best decision for the guys. Even for him, he'd want to go anytime, but let's look what it looks like this week, and hopefully we can turn the corner to get him back into his groove.
Without Brian, was it kind of game script or difficult to kind of stay balanced between pass and run?
No, we knew that there would be some hard runs, but we thought at times that'll help you on the play passes. Like even though you got to stick to it, because anytime you become one-dimensional and guys can start ripping to go, it just changes it. I just wish we had more shots at bat, in this one, because that's where the time of possession and just kind of got worn down as it goes. Then every one you feel this urgency. We got to go convert. We got to get this, and so it was harder to get into that battle rhythm. But like I said, there's a lot to learn. I don't know what the total play numbers, but it felt very lopsided from a time of possession. I was just kind of encouraging the defense, just the next stop. That's all you have to worry about. And they had things they wanted to clean up, but just the next play, the next stop. So like I said, there'll be a lot to learn from it. All right, thank you, everybody.
Obviously, it's only been a few minutes after the game, but what for you today was the most challenging part against that defense?
We just didn't finish some opportunities. Great defense that we were able to go up and have a challenge against and face today. But at the end of the day, man, we just focus on us. Man, we got to go out there and we got to execute. They got some stops, and that's what they pride themselves on doing.
Obviously, it's a next man up situation, but to not have B-Rob and what he provides, how did that make you guys a little more one-dimensional, perhaps, than you would have preferred?
I mean, B-Rob is a great player, but like I said, the next man up thing. Whatever we're asked to do, we got to go out there and do our job.
What do you think you learned today?
That we're gonna play these type of games. Super Bowl contender team. Obviously, they were in the AFC Championship game last year. They got great players all around the field, but it's very promising that we're able to be in this type of game. But moving forward, man, it's not gonna get any easier. So we're gonna have to go back and watch the film and execute higher, and hopefully on some games coming forward on the other end of that.
After winning 4 in a row, how different is it to be, after a loss again?
I mean, losing sucks, but you're moving on to the next.
Jay, did you feel like you were playing against Lamar Jackson?
Did I feel like I was playing against him?
Yeah, I mean, like matching up with him?
Nah, I mean, great player, man. Two-time MVP for a reason. He had a great game, but just know you go out there. Obviously, you keep that in the back of your mind, like, man, we got to score, because they got a quarterback on the other side that can put up points too.
It was a big game. Two teams that have high expectations have been playing well. Did you feel like the atmosphere was more intense? Did you feel like it was? Could you feel that it was a big game?
No, it was another game to me. I don't know how everybody else felt, but I just feel like it was another game to me.
Baltimore is well documented as far as their physicality on defense. Did you feel like this was probably the best defense that you have played against since you've been a pro?
To this far, yeah. To this point, for sure. Obviously, what they do, how they operate, how they try to punch you in your mouth, and I think we responded well to that.
Even without B-Rob, the run game was a bit of a struggle. Did they do something specifically that slowed you guys down?
I got to go back and watch the film.
Jayden, wins are great, and last week you spent a lot of the fourth quarter on the sideline because they didn't need you. This time you're on the field and trying to come back. Did you learn anything about yourself? Obviously, you've been in games like this before in college, but
yeah.
as a professional, did you learn anything today?
Yeah, it's the NFL, and these was the type of games they're going to come down to. One-score games, close games, and we got to figure out a way to pull those ones out.
Jayden, getting Noah Brown back today, can you just talk about the importance of that?
Yeah, it was good to have Noah back. Obviously, he made some big plays. The whole pass interference on that last drive, that was huge. I think if he didn't get hold, he would go up and make that play, make that catch. But it was great to have him back. Just another veteran presence on the field.
And then some more connections with Terry today, despite the loss. Do you feel like you guys have hit kind of a groove, so to speak, or do you still think you're kind of building that relationship?
Yeah, man, I just think I'm still growing. I think everybody's still growing as a team. It's first year playing with each other, first couple games. So, we're going to keep growing from that.
Jayden, do you feel that the Ravens defense were trying to keep you from running downfield, kind of keep you in the pocket more, or just their scheme? How did you see that, assess that for today?
Yeah, I believe so. And try to limit explosive plays and keep me within the pocket and stuff like that. Keep eyes on me. That's kind of how they were playing. To that point, man, kudos to them. They pulled out the win.
Bobby Wagner said he's been through this where you're kind of on a run and then you learn from these games. What was the coach's message to you guys?
Yeah, these are the type of games we want to be in, and it's the type of games that we're probably going to be in moving forward. And, you got to be able to pull those out. This is the type of game you want to learn from and move on to the next.
Jayden, 1 for 6 on third down in the second half. It's one thing to see this Ravens team on film, or what the biggest challenge in going up against them this afternoon, especially on the money down for you guys?
Yeah, we just missed some opportunities. One of them, they got their hand better on the ball on the 2nd and 5, and then the next play I rolled out and had Noah open and sailed it. But obviously, they pride themselves on getting stops and getting off the field, and that was a good defense that we went up against today.
Most positive takeaway this afternoon for you guys?
Yeah, we're right there. We're never going to give up. We're competing. We're fighting. Move on to the next.
Appreciate it, Jay.
Appreciate you.